I moved into a quiet neighborhood last week, the kind of place where nothing happens. No streetlights, just rows of dark, sleepy houses. It felt peaceful at first. The silence was comforting. Until last night. At 2 a.m., I woke up to a faint tapping noise. My groggy brain dismissed it at first, just a branch or maybe a raccoon. But it kept going. Tap, tap, tap. I turned toward the window, and my heart stopped. There he was, a man, standing on the sidewalk, staring directly at me. He wasn't moving, just standing there, perfectly still. His face was lit faintly by the moonlight, but that's all I needed to see the grin. His lips were stretched unnaturally wide, like a mask of pure malice. I tried to convince myself it was nothing. Maybe he was a drunk neighbor, or someone passing by, but his clothes looked too clean for that. He wore a suit, perfectly pressed as if he'd just come from a formal event. And his posture, it wasn't human. Too stiff, too precise. Then I saw his hand. He was holding something long and metallic. A pipe, maybe? No, it was sharper than that. It gleamed faintly in the moonlight as he raised it and started tapping again. Tap, tap, tap. I wanted to call the police, but my phone was in the kitchen. I didn't dare move. I just stayed frozen, watching him. That's when he stopped tapping. His head tilted to the side, as if he could sense me watching. My blinds were still open. I cursed myself for not closing them earlier. Slowly, I reached out, trying to pull them shut without drawing his attention. But as soon as I touched the cord, he took a step forward. I stopped breathing. He took another step, and then another. The grin never faltered. By the time he reached my yard, I couldn't move. My brain screamed at me to run, but my body wouldn't obey. Then he stopped. Right in front of my window. He leaned forward, pressing his face against the glass. His eyes met mine. I couldn't look away. His lips moved, forming silent words. I couldn't hear him, but I could read his lips. "Let me in," I snapped. I yanked the blinds down and bolted for the kitchen. My heart was pounding so hard I thought it might explode. I grabbed my phone and dialed 911 with shaking fingers, trying to explain what was happening. The dispatcher said they'd send someone right away. But then I heard it. The tapping again. Not on the window. On the back door. I slowly turned. The door had a small frosted window. And there he was. The grin, the pipe, the tapping. He raised his hand and pointed at the lock. Slowly, deliberately, he mouthed the words again. "Let me in." I backed away, gripping a kitchen knife I'd grabbed without even realizing it. The police would be here soon, I told myself. Just hold on. The tapping stopped. When I looked back, he was gone. Relief washed over me, but only for a second. Because then I heard my bedroom door creak open. Like for part 2,